Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video game video. This time I thought I would show my PlayStation 1 horror slash survival horror slash action horror game collection. Now, I don't have too many of these. I mean, I have a decent amount, but there are some that I'm still missing from the collection. But anyway, let's get started. My introduction to these type of games, I would have to say, now I'm not going to just say survival horror, because there are games here that are just not necessarily survival horror. Like I said earlier, some are action horror games. But anyway, my introduction to action type horror games probably started with the Nintendo's release of Friday the 13th. I remember I went to the toy store with my mother and I saw that and I was like, oh, I gotta get that. And she wound up getting it for me. And I know its reputation of being, a ridiculous game and all that stuff, but I enjoyed it, I was a horror fan. I loved those movies. Probably shouldn't have been watching them at that age, but I was, like probably countless other little kids that were watching them that probably shouldn't have been watching them. And so to see it on your favorite toy, which is the Nintendo, because the Nintendo really is a toy, to see it come to life on Nintendo, followed by Nightmare on Elm Street and other games, was really a treat, And I think after that, after Nightmare on Elm Street, seeing Splatterhouse on the TurboGrafx 16, my friend Joe had TurboGrafx 16, and he would show me this game called Splatterhouse. I was like, damn, this is really gory. I mean, the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street games on Nintendo weren't gory, I mean, bad things were happening, but it wasn't, wasn't like all messy and all that stuff the way Splatterhouse was. So that was pretty cool. But what got me into the survival horror genre, once again, I got my PlayStation for Christmas '96, and in early '97 I was hanging out with my friend Chris, the same guy that introduced me to role-playing games, with him playing Final Fantasy III all the time. His cousin came over and brought over a game that I'm going to be showing you in a few moments. So he brought over this game. Just hold out for one more game to show you. I don't have part 2 of Parasite Eve. This is a good example of a action role-playing horror game. It's got a lot of stuff going on for it. Like I said, I don't have part 2. So anyway, getting back to that story, my friend Chris, his cousin came over one night and brought this. Not this exact copy, but this exact version. There are 2 versions of this. Well, there's many versions of Resident Evil, but it originally came out in long box. He brought over Resident Evil. And after that, I've told that story in previous videos, how he said, oh, we got to play this with the lights lights shut off, and it was just amazing. I've never seen this type of storytelling. I never had this much tension while watching or playing a video game before. And after that, I became a big survival horror fan. This wasn't officially released by PlayStation. This is, I believe, I forget who did this. This is like a homebrew game. But this is Resident Evil. We'll talk a little bit about this, because I only have a few more games to show. Like I said, I don't have too many of these. But this is Resident Evil 1.5. Now, what this was supposed to be Resident Evil 2. This is the unreleased version of Resident Evil 2, where they had a completely different female character. As we all know, those that have played Resident Evil 2, you get to choose between 2 characters. You could either be Leon or Claire. Well, in the original, what was supposed to be the original release of Resident Evil 2, Claire wasn't in the game. Some girl named, I think her name was Elsa Walker. She was supposed to be like a motorcycle stuntman type character that was doing stunts to pay for her college bills or whatever, pretty cool. But that game was practically finished before Capcom scrapped it and redid Resident Evil 2 to the version that we all know and have played today. But like I said, they pretty much completed that game before scrapping it, and that is this. So somebody got the code, and you could get these online. I think I got this at Etsy or something like that, Etsy.com. I don't know how much I paid for it. Maybe $19, $20. I don't know. I haven't opened it yet because you need to play this on a system that enables you to play backups. I do have a PlayStation that enables me to play backups. Actually, my friend, I'll start showing the rest of the games. My friend, back in '97, I wanted to play some Japanese games that were coming out, in particular Tobal Number 2, which wasn't going to see a release in the United States. So he took my PlayStation to Penguin Village in the city, in New York City, and they modified it so that it could play backups, Japanese games, and so forth. So I could play that Resident Evil 1.5 on there. I just haven't been motivated yet to open it and play it yet. But that's pretty cool. But yeah, they released, it's cool that we could play what was supposed to be the original release of Resident Evil 2 in that Resident Evil 1.5. So like I said, there's a ton of Resident Evil games out there, not just for the PlayStation, but all systems. This is Resident Evil Gun Survivor. This is like a shoot 'em type game or whatever. This was given to me, quite frankly. I wouldn't have purchased this game. I heard a lot of bad things about it. I still have yet to play it. I've had it for a long time, and I still have yet to play it. Now, I know a lot of people love this one right here, Silent Hill. This was a pretty good game, and it was almost similar to Resident Evil, except that Resident Evil was mainly about horror, zombies and all this sorts of creatures coming after you. Silent Hill, although had some similar characters in it, it was more of a psychological type game. It wanted to mess with your mind and create of course it wanted to create horror, but it also wanted to create a real uneasiness about some of the things that were going on. Now, this game right here, Soul of the Samurai, this is an action type horror game. Basically you're two samurai. You could choose either this guy, I forget his name, or this one, and fight about a bunch of undead samurai running around, almost like a precursor to Onimusha. And this is the last one I'm going to show. And unfortunately, this is a horrible game. Spawn, for all comic book fans, we all know who Spawn is and all that stuff. And Spawn has almost like a horror type comic. It's not, it's a superhero horror type comic. Unfortunately, this game sucks. I remember I got this when it first came out, and I was like, oh god, I had to use a cheat device to get to the end, but what can you do? So that's my horror / survival horror / action horror, whatever you want to call it, collection. Like I said, I don't have too many. I think there are still several out there that I don't have for the PlayStation that maybe one day I'll get, or maybe I won't. I don't know. But thank you all for watching. Take care.